So you've just lost your job in Arkansas, or maybe your hours got severely cut. Look, it's incredibly stressful, right? Staring down government websites can literally feel like trying to defuse a bomb when you're already overwhelmed. But hey, take a deep breath. You are absolutely in the right place. We're going to make this super easy. This explainer is your ultimate stress-free guide to getting the financial support you've already paid into. We're going to break the whole unemployment insurance process down into simple, bite-sized pieces. Welcome to our explainer on how to file for unemployment online in Arkansas. Government portals kind of have a reputation for being, well, a maze of bureaucratic jargon. But today, we're going to completely demystify all of that. By the time we're done here, making your way through the state's filing process is going to feel way less like a confusing maze and more like a simple, straight line. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap. First, the unemployment lifeline. Then, preparing your documentation. Navigating the easy ARC platform, after you submit, avoiding common mistakes, and finally, where to get help. All right, Section 1, the Unemployment Lifeline. Let's figure out what this safety net actually is, and more importantly, if you're legally eligible to catch it. So the Arkansas Department of Workforce Services, or the ADWS, manages these benefits. They look for a few key things. First up, you've got to be unemployed or working significantly reduced hours through no fault of your own. Basically, this means you were laid off or the company downsized rather than you just quitting on a whim or getting fired for severe misconduct. Makes sense, right? Second, you have to be physically and mentally able to work and actively looking for a full-time gig. But here's the really crucial part. It's all about the math. Arkansas looks at your base period. That's usually the first 4 of the last 5 completed calendar quarters. So to put that into perspective, if you file in April this year, the state's going to look at your earnings from all of last year just to make sure you've paid enough into the system to draw from it now. Moving right along to Section 2, preparing your documentation. Think of this like packing your bags before a big trip. You wouldn't just show up at the airport without your ID, right? Well, you definitely shouldn't log into the state website without your documents. The ADWS has a really streamlined, standardized process across the entire state. If you gather all your info before you start the actual online application, it only takes about 30 minutes. Let me repeat that. Just half an hour to secure your financial bridge. But if you have to keep pausing to dig through old shoeboxes for paperwork, well, that 30 minutes can quickly snowball into a highly frustrating afternoon. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that having this specific checklist ready isn't just a gentle suggestion. It's practically a survival tactic. These government portals have strict security timers. If you step away to find a document, the system will time out and poof, you lose all your progress. Nobody wants that. So keep this checklist right next to your keyboard. Your social security number, a valid picture ID, your mailing and physical addresses, the exact name and address of your last employer, plus your last day worked and the reason you left. Oh, and definitely grab your bank routing and account numbers because you'll absolutely want to set up direct deposit to get your money faster. Quick side note, if you aren't a U.S. citizen, you'll just need your alien identification number or work permit ready too. All right, bags are packed. Let's head into Section 3, navigating the EZARC platform. This is the execution phase, where we actually go in and secure that lifeline. So, EZARC stands for Easy Arkansas Claims. It's the state's primary online portal for filing your initial claim. You'll access it right at ezarc.aws.arkansas.gov. But hey, listen closely because this trips up so many people. EZARC is not a 24/7 website. Seriously, because of nightly database maintenance, you can only file your claim between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Sunday through Friday. So if you pour a cup of coffee on a Saturday night planning to knock this out, you're literally going to be locked out. Jot those hours down in your calendar for sure. Once you log in during those specific daytime hours, you're looking at a 4-step journey. Step 1 is just completing that 30-minute application on EZARC we just talked about. Step 2 is absolutely critical. You have to verify your identity. If you skip this, your claim gets held up immediately. No way around it. The easiest route is using the login.gov link that pops up on your final confirmation page. Or, if you prefer, you can take the barcode from that page and your physical ID into over 200 participating post offices in Arkansas, or just visit a local DWS office. Then for Step 3, you'll register for work online using Arkansas JobLink. And finally, Step 4 is the maintenance phase, filing your weekly claims. Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, after you submit. Hitting that submit button on EZARC might feel like crossing the finish line, but it's really just the starting gun for the maintenance phase of your benefits. Take a look at that number right there, 25. While your actual weekly payout amount will vary based on your past earnings, 25 weeks is the absolute maximum duration you can legally receive unemployment in Arkansas. That's your window. Your goal during this time is to have a bit of breathing room while actively hunting for that next great job.
Let's move to the timeline and see how this all builds. You don't just get a magic lump sum check. You actually have to prove you're still eligible every single week. So after you apply, you start filing those weekly claims. Pretty soon, you'll get a notice of agency determination in the mail. This is the official letter saying if you're approved or denied and for exactly how much. Now, if you get denied, do not panic. The state gives you a strict 20-day window from the date on that notice to file a formal appeal. And here's a massive insider tip. Even if you are denied and fighting an appeal, you absolutely must keep filing your weekly claims. Why? Because if you end up winning the appeal, they will only back pay you for the weeks you actually went in and filed.
All right, let's switch into coach mode for Section 5, avoiding common mistakes. Bureaucracy can be pretty unforgiving, but honestly, most of these delays are totally avoidable if you just know where the traps are hidden.
Looking at our table here, the number one mistake people make is simply forgetting the ID proof. Like we said, just click that login.gov link the very second you finish your application. Mistake number 2 is missing weekly claims or getting confused by the calendar. In Arkansas, the unemployment work week starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday. Keep that rhythm in your head. You can file these claims online via the ArcNet system or just call ArcLine on the phone. Skipping a week, yeah, that's going to severely disrupt your payments. And the third mistake, which we've already hammered home, but it's worth repeating, trying to log into EasyArc after 6 p.m. Just remember those daytime hours so you don't add totally unnecessary stress to your plate.
Okay, moving to Section 6, where to get help. Look, even with perfect prep, tech glitches happen, or maybe your specific life situation makes a form super confusing. I want you to know you are not alone in this process. The Arkansas Division of Workforce Services runs physical Arkansas workforce centers all over the state that you can literally just walk into. And here's something really great. If English isn't your first language, or if you just feel totally lost looking at government forms, they provide completely free interpretation and translation services. You absolutely don't have to struggle through this alone. Just reach out to your nearest local office. Here is your administrative directory right on the screen. Honestly, you might want to pause the video real quick and just snap a picture of this for your records. For general questions or if you get stuck on the application, the main UI Service Center hotline is 1-844-908-2178. Just keep in mind, real humans staff that phone line Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you prefer calling in your weekly claims instead of doing it online, that's ArcLine at 501-907-2590. And if you're ever checking on an appeal status, you can hit up the appeal tribunal directly at 501-682-1063. Now, just a quick best practice note to make sure you're fully protected. This explainer is strictly for informational purposes. It does not constitute legal or financial advice. The thing about government rules, exact payout amounts, and even website portal hours is that they can, and definitely do, change based on legislative updates. So always double-check the current guidelines directly with the official Arkansas Division of Workforce Services website before you make any decisions. Job loss is just a bump in the road, guys. It is not the end of your journey. By knowing your eligibility, getting those documents together right out of the gate, strictly sticking to EasyArc's operating hours, and setting a weekly alarm to file your claims, you're taking all the friction right out of the process. So go gather those documents, log on during the day, and claim the support you have rightfully earned. But, it does make you think. As AI and automation continue to completely reshape the modern job market, knowing how to navigate these local safety nets is quickly becoming a universal survival skill. So, what does this all mean for the future? How might states have to completely redesign these legacy systems in the next 5 years to support the workforce of tomorrow? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.